Garbage. Stop it.
I got it.
What's up, everybody?
Just got a nice
Just got a nice view outside of the rainy Sunday taking place here in Wyoming. Just out for a cruise. Got my girlfriend Bailey here with me.
Hi.
You can't see her, but she's there. She's not just a figment of my imagination, I promise. Anyways, we are just hanging out. I just kind of want to take this opportunity to answer some questions, go over anything that somebody might be wanting to know. So yeah, I think we're gonna talk through some stuff.
Yes, but I think you should start out by
Hey,
telling them how you got into exotic cars.
Exotic car.
Oh, no, okay, how you got into cars from day one.
Okay, so yeah, that's a question I get asked pretty frequently. I guess it all goes back to, well, probably even back further than the first car. I've always kind of had a love for cars. My dad kind of instilled that into me at an early age. I always wanted to pick up a Hot Wheels car when we went to Walmart. But yeah, I got my first car for my 15th birthday. It was a 1966 Mustang. I think it cost about, I think it was around $1,200 to $1,500. Not very expensive, but it was definitely rough. I had to do a lot of work. My dad and I kind of worked on it together, so it's a special car. I kept it. Don't plan on selling it. Put a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears in it. And yeah, it redid the interior, painted it, got it running. Over the years, it's had a lot of different things done to it. It's just kind of my continuous project. That is one car that I have more money into than I will ever get back out of it. But that's kind of where it all really started. I just found that love for buying and fixing things up, making something new. I think that's probably like my favorite part of working on cars, just the fact that you get to take a little piece of yourself and then put it into something else, see all of the hard work come to fruition, and just be able to go out and drive that. I don't think there's a better feeling really in the world than just putting kind of your heart and soul into something and then being able to see what you've created when you're finished, and actually use it. That's something that's super special for me in Wyoming, is just being able to go out. Like, there's not very many people in Wyoming, but
You don't say.
so that's something that's special here, is just being able to go and drive around. There's not much traffic. You can really kind of just go out and open up your car. Tons of mountain roads that you can take, and yeah, it's fun for me. So
This car isn't even fast.
no, it's not too fast. It's just kind of fast.
It's not fast.
I just got passed by a Cadillac, so
Yeah, see? And they're not even from here.
yeah, people still do cut you off in Wyoming because, you know, they can, I guess.
So, started with the Mustang.
Started from the bottom.
Now you're here.
Now I'm here.
Okay, started before that. It's funny because my nephews always beg for cars. Those little Hot Wheels when we go to Walmart. So.
Oh yeah, I still have my Hot Wheels collection.
So
I've got like hundreds of Hot Wheels cars.
Seeing a lot of this in their future, maybe.
Yes.
So then you have flipped and sold.
Oh, Brett says to bring them on camera. I think he wants to see you. Maybe we should.
No. Brett didn't say that. It just said.
Oh. There we go. Sorry, Brett. My bad. If you're still here, come on, B.
He's definitely not here. Anyways, so you've like bought and flipped a lot of different cars, and we kind of talked about this a while ago. But which one was your like all-time favorite? Like, which one did you feel like you did your best work and like, I don't know how to describe that. You're like, when you sold it, you were like, this thing is sweet.
I don't know. I think like each time I get a new car and work on it, it's probably like my favorite car. That's just pretty much the way it works. It's hard to say. So like, I mean, definitely the first one, the 66, holds a special place in my heart. So that's kind of, you know, just where it really all began. So that's something that like is special and that I'll never sell, and that I'm, you know, something that I'm proud of, I guess. But you know, other than that, I had a lot. I'm getting close to 40 cars that I've owned now. One that I thought was really fun was a 1970 Saab 9.6, which is kind of a quirky little fun car. It's like the Swedish version of the Volkswagen Beetle. Just a big old tub. They used to race them over in Sweden in the wintertime in the snow. So like, because the bottom was a tub, kind of like a Beetle, there's nothing really under there. They just would kind of glide across the snow. So that's...
Why don't they do that now? That's what we need in Wyoming.
I probably could. I never really got the chance to drive that one in the snow.
It'd be like a turtle.
Yeah, it was a front wheel drive car. Like, that's why there's no axle under it. So everything was up in the front. The engine was up in the front. So it was just kind of a big flat sheet of metal pretty much under the bottom of the car.
That's crazy.
And so it got decent traction with the front wheel drive and the motor sitting up over that and the weight there. So yeah, that's what they used to do with those. That was a fun car. I don't know, I had a lot of muscle cars, Mustangs. It's recently started getting into exotic cars, really. I think the first exotic car I bought was also an Aston Martin V8 Vantage 2014.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so how did you... It's like, for me, going from buying, like, cheap horses to buying really expensive reining horses. How did you go from buying, like beaters that you had to fix up to buying something, like, that's a pretty brave jump?
Yeah, I mean, it's just really building equity with what you're doing. So all the cars that I buy, I guess early on.
Like, how did you decide? Oh yeah, I can spend $1,200 on this car and put a little bit in and flip it, to going like, oh yeah, I can spend $70,000 on a car. This is fine. Like,
well, it's a lot of it's the same, really. Like, I mean, it's just buying something that's more expensive. And doing kind of the same thing with it.
Yeah, but how did you make that jump like that?
It's really just understanding. You know, I mean, I've always loved these types of cars as well. Something that I wanted to buy. I didn't ever really know if I was going to get there. But the opportunity arose, and these aren't that expensive. Like, I mean, it's kind of a relatively expensive car, but for what you're getting, like, I mean, people are buying brand new trucks that cost this much now. So it's kind of just making that jump, I guess. Like, you're doing the same sort of thing, really, where you are taking something, understanding like what majority of the cars are selling for, being able to negotiate it to a point that you're getting a good deal, and then just going the extra mile to really make it something really special, or look better, or whatever that is. If something needs fixed, you're fixing it, that sort of thing, and then selling it for a profit.
So, like, how did you even know anything about that, I guess?
I mean, the fixing part really came from my dad, so that's kind of like I said, we worked together on my Mustang, and that was where I just fell in love with really just working on cars and being able to take something that was gross at one point in time and clean it up and make it new and something just really special, that I could appreciate and somebody else could also appreciate too, that had the same passion as I do. And then the buying and selling part, like, I just kind of started doing that really when I was initially looking. I just love looking at cars, which I'm sure a lot of other people do. That's something I just kind of do in my free time, is just sit on the computer and look at different types of cars, but I'll look at like what they're selling for, that sort of thing.
Sure do.
You're shaking your head. But I just constantly am looking at like what prices of cars are, what different things are going for, and then really to start out with, I was just on Craigslist all the time trying to find good deals, like seeing what people were selling, like cars that I'm not really like a one ride or die brand type person. Like a lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm a Chevy guy, or a Ford guy, or a Dodge guy, or a Porsche guy, whatever it is. Like that's kind of just what they drive. And I have always been the kind of guy that is just, I want to own them all because I think they're all cool. So, but I was on Craigslist like all the time, looking at stuff, trying to find good deals, unique vehicles. That, I guess that's really my favorite type of thing, is driving something that is just super special, like that nobody else has, whether that's an old car that was built a certain way, or an exotic car, or just customizing something to make it my own. Like, I don't know that I've ever really had I guess there is one. I had a 2006, I think, Ford Fusion. It was a regular old Ford Fusion. But
that's when you started picking up all the ladies.
For the most part, I really try to drive something unique. Like, I don't think there's a car that, other than that one, that I've really ever owned that somebody didn't know that it was me driving down the road. So, but yeah, really just trying to find unique cars that needed some love, able to work on those, and then just put them up for sale. I think if I think they're cool, there's a good chance that somebody else is going to think they're cool too. So it's just, most of it's like most things, is just all about the deal that you make to begin with, the room that you give yourself to play with, as far as like the amount of money that you have left over that you can invest in the car, and then being able to find the right buyers. So it's just kind of all about, the whole process is just fascinating to me. So I've been doing it for a while, and that's just what I love to do.
So you got your first exotic car when you were 23.
23, I bought my first Aston Martin. It was a 2007 Aston Martin V8 Vantage. I had no clue about exotic cars whatsoever. Like, pretty much I was just, dreaming, I guess, looking on the internet at some different cars like that, and then started doing a little bit more research. Found these guys called the Secret Entourage, who had an article on the Aston Martin Vantage, things to be aware of when buying one, and maintenance costs, because that's something that I was always like kind of freaked out about, is like, wow, exotic cars, like even if you could afford one, like, I mean, there's some Ferraris and stuff that get down pretty low, like if you were going to buy an old Ferrari, like the Magnum style Ferrari, that sort of thing, like they get pretty affordable. But I've always heard like horror stories about exotic cars just having ridiculous maintenance costs. So you buy like a, you know, $30,000-$40,000 car that in turn you have to turn around and buy an engine or something for because it exploded, and then you needed another $100,000 to fix it, that sort of thing. So I never like really that was something that always scared me. But the Vantage, you know, is relatively affordable. So Ford owned Aston Martin up until 2007, I think. They were kind of the ones who spawned this new Vantage, and a lot of the parts within the Vantage are like Ford, Volvo parts. So most of the maintenance parts and stuff are pretty cheap, relatively affordable. I, just because I love working on cars, do a lot of the maintenance stuff, etc. myself. So that
plus the closest dealership's like what, 7 hours away?
Yeah. So like if I'm gonna take this to somebody, then I've got to drive it a long ways to a dealership. Yeah, I mean it's definitely fun, but not nearly as scary as I thought. So shout out to the Secret Entourage and Exotic Car Hacks, because I mean, I knew a lot about buying and selling. I didn't know a lot about exotic cars.
Let's go that way.
Okay. Didn't know a lot about exotic cars. In Wyoming, like I said, there's not a whole lot of that stuff here. Really, I have the exotic car in town. Like, I mean, there's probably a couple other ones that, you know, are hiding away in somebody's garage here, and nobody really brings them out and drives them. I am a strong advocate for driving whatever car you have.
Please don't kill me.
It shouldn't stay in the garage. That's boring. So if you've got one, get it out, drive it. I don't really care what it is. Like I said, I like them all. It's kind of maybe unique. I don't know. I think there's some other people out there like me, but if it's unique, I feel like, you know, it's something that you can be proud of. But they're all special. If you like it, that's totally fine. Everybody's got different tastes. But yeah, there's not really many exotic cars in Wyoming. So I'm kind of it here where I live. So I didn't have a whole lot of that information readily available. I couldn't go down to a dealership, check out the cars, couldn't test drive anything. Didn't know anybody that had anything like this really, that I could go over to their house and ask them questions and just take a look at it, that sort of stuff. So it was really just shooting in the dark for me. I had to do some research on the internet just to try to figure out some stuff, where I found Secret Entourage, Exotic Car Hacks, PJ. If you're super into exotic cars and this is the direction you want to go, highly recommend Exotic Car Hacks. Group is great. A lot of good information there. I learned a lot. Shout out to those guys.
And
keep doing what you're doing.
As the girlfriend, I saw our future was looking very dim when you started spending massive amounts of money on groups and cars and stuff. But I do defend you to this day if anybody says something, that you know your stuff, and I'm pretty sure that that's basically where all that knowledge came from. So
I learned a lot about exotic cars within that. That's a great resource
from
for sure.
the girlfriend's perspective, I approve.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you buy right, really any type of car, it can be viewed as an investment. Most people view vehicles as a liability just because nobody expects to make money necessarily, especially on like new cars. You know, like if you buy something brand new, it's just kind of a given that you're going to lose money. Like by the time you've paid off your loan or whatever, like normal people do, you can just expect your car to pretty much be worth nothing. You know, even if you're buying something cheap, you buy a brand new $25,000-$30,000 car, you get a whatever 6, 7, 8-year loan on it to pay off, which you can do. You know, when you go to sell it, depending on how well you've cared for it, you might just be getting, you know, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, something like that out of it. So it's, most cars are like that, but if you're able to buy right, know what you're looking for,
So
pretty much just buy used, and then really not hold on to it for too long, and or fix it up. Like every car is a different situation, but understanding like just what you're buying, where the market sits for that specific vehicle, that sort of stuff, then you're definitely able to make money on vehicles like that for sure.
So do you think you could help me flip my Jeep?
Maybe. I don't know.
What do we gotta do?
We gotta make it cooler for sure. A lot of times that's what it takes, really.
It's cooler when I'm driving it.
Just making it cooler.
How do you make a Jeep Compass cooler? I put a new stereo in it.
That's good. That's a bonus.
Okay, so second car, exotic. How old were you?
Second exotic car?
Yeah.
I bought that one. So I actually had the first Aston Martin for about a year and a half. It's what I bought it for, I think like $42,500, and then I sold it just under 48. So I think I sold it for $47,900. Somebody in town, actually. It was pretty cool story. It was really random. I met this guy. I was just getting ready to list it for sale. Been driving around. You don't see him up here. Met this older gentleman at a Chinese food restaurant, just pulling in, asked me, you know, he basically...
Didn't he say, like, how much does it take to own one of these?
Well, yeah, he said, God bless you for driving one of these. You don't see enough of these around here. Asked me how much it costs. He said, what do you got to pay to get one of these cars? I told him, you know, I actually am just thinking about putting this one up for sale. He's like, let's go for a test drive. And we went for a test drive, and that guy wrote me a check that afternoon for what I was asking for it. So it was a pretty cool story. Not all car sales go that way, but I mean, there's definitely something to say for exotic cars. That's the most fascinating thing for me, really, with exotic cars, is they're so unique and so special. There's not very many of them around here. So when you go to put it up for sale, like on eBay or something like that, like people are looking nationally for these, you know, and really in some cases globally. If you've got the, like, I haven't owned any cars really that someone's looking globally for yet, but people are searching nationally for specific cars like this, just because there's not that many of them out here. And so you are really able to ask kind of what you want, to a certain extent, especially if your car is nice and really unique, and sell it to somebody across the country because they're looking for that exact car. So that's something that's really special about exotic cars.
Okay, so you owned your first Aston Martin for a year and a half, so 23 to 24.
Yeah.
And then
I sold the Aston Martin close to wintertime, and so I didn't really want to buy another exotic car right away that was just going to sit in the garage. Bought a BMW, drove that through the winter.
That one was the one where I decided I don't like working on cars.
Yeah. So we definitely put some. I made her some go fast parts. And she, yeah, it was a quick car for sure. It was a 335i, which I don't know if anybody's familiar with BMW, but this is getting really, I'm 35i is kind of the baby brother to the M3, and really it's got that inline 6, and with a few mods you can make it ridiculously, and a tune, you can make it pretty ridiculously fast. So it was a fun car to drive in the wintertime. Threw on some cob parts, bigger intercooler, downpipes, cold air intake, exhaust, added a tune, that sort of stuff, and it was quick. Different wheels and tires, but yeah.
Did you make a profit on that one too?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a profit. I probably dumped too much money into it.
But it was fun.
It was fun, and like, I mean, I only owned it for like a few months. Like, I think I bought it in maybe like November.
Yep.
Or something.
Yep, because we were in the Army already.
Yeah, so I bought it in November, and then I sold it, I think, in March the next year. So it was just, yeah, I just had it for a few months. It's pretty quick flip. But yeah, I didn't make a ton of money on that, but I definitely sucked all my money back out of it, so that was good. And then following that, I think in April or May, something like that, I bought a 2013 Maserati Gran Turismo MC, which is also a very fun car. It was quick, sounded amazing, but they don't come in a manual transmission. So I mean, to me, this Aston Martin that I'm in right now has been my favorite exotic car.
And my favorite was the first one.
Yeah, this one, I don't know.
So,
There's something about this one. It's got the bigger. It's a 4.7 liter V8 instead of the 4.3. And I don't know, I just love the way this one looks. It's got kind of not a British racing green, but that sort of, it's got the heritage, like, I feel like. It's got, it's kind of, I don't know, it's almost like a gray-green color, and then this stone interior. I just love the way this one looks, the way it drives, that sort of thing. It really feels like, I honestly thought that the Vantage and the Gran Turismo were pretty like close comparable vehicles. Like, if somebody's searching for one, they might be looking at the other at the same time. Well, that is not the case. Like, the Vantage is a much smaller, like, sporty car. The Gran Turismo is definitely more of a, get this, Grand Tourer car. But yeah, there is more room. You're sitting up higher, not down as low. Definitely more, like, you could definitely drive this on a long trip, but that other one is kind of, comfier, just kind of, I don't know. They're not really that comparable. I like that one alright, but it wasn't quite as, like, you don't feel as in tune with the road, I guess. So, yeah, this one has been, I would say, my funnest, if that's a word. I know it's not. Car to date.
I thought you were gonna try to kill me.
Yeah, I could, probably.
No, please don't. Please, no.
No, this is too bumpy out here.
Good. That's good.
I want to hop over something and end up in the ditch.
I just didn't want you to kill me, that's all. Since you try regularly.
If you're not a little bit scared of your car, then it's not the right car, guys.
So, after this one.
Which one?
That's what I'm saying.
This one that I'm in right now?
Yep. I mean, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I have some aspirations, I would say.
Can I make a recommendation?
I mean, since I started, I've been working my way up. Sure, go ahead.
Don't get a Lamborghini.
Because you want a Lamborghini first?
I made you a bet that I would have one before you, so just, like, help me out a little.
Well, I'm not making any promises. I don't know. I say if I sell this one and I'm getting something different and moving up, upgrading, there's a few cars that I'm kind of interested in. Lamborghini Gallardo is one of them for sure.
Bad option.
If it comes with a 6-speed, I just love. I don't know. I'm a save the manuals guy. It's way more fun to drive. They might not be as fast as like the dual clutch type stuff, but it's just fun to drive, and you can't really get anything that's like that anymore. You know, like manuals are going out of style big time. People don't even know how to drive a manual anymore, but I just love it. So yeah, Gallardo is definitely one that I would be interested in buying for sure. A Aston Martin DBS manual is also another big one that's on the list. Definitely kind of like a keeper car, I would say.
Which one? Me. A DBS?
DBS. The other Aston Martin that I'm a huge fan of is probably too new for me to buy like right now, but it's the 2017 V12 Vantage with the 7-speed manual transmission. Ridiculously cool. I think they only made like 100 of those cars though, so it's really rare. Super cool though. I would definitely love having one of those. And then I don't know. I'm a little bit of a Ferrari fan, but I don't know if I could afford, especially right now, the one that I would want, and that is they've just been skyrocketing in price. The F430 with a manual transmission. A lot of people want the manual transmission now that they can't get the manual transmission. Who would have thought?
I think we're being followed.
Maybe so.
We're being chased down.
Nope. But yeah, so I mean, it's a manual for me. Those are kind of like, I would say, 4 of my 4 cars on my list of cars that I definitely want to own at some point in time. I don't know. I kind of want to find a car that I can really just keep though. At the same time, like I love flipping stuff, but at the same time, I want to have one that I can just really, make super unique and just keep it.
And meanwhile, I thought you had commitment issues.
Time to settle down with a car. No, I like this one too, so I don't know. I'll probably do the same thing when I get a new one. Have it for a while, think I'm going to keep it, and then just sell it. If you buy right, you're always in that position though. So.
I mean, I like this one pretty good. It's got nice seat warmers, which is like a definite plus when it's this cold out.
Yeah, there's something to say for technology. Like I love being able to just Bluetooth my phone to the stereo. So that's something nice that you don't find in like an older car.
Yeah, but you just put a fancy new stereo in your Land Cruiser.
Yeah, I did do that. So I've been working pretty hard on that puppy. If you saw the other video, you might know a little bit of that, but I definitely been working on that one for winter. When are you starting the YouTube channel? The YouTube channel's already been started. It's actually the same videos that are happening right here currently, but I've got some big stuff in the works. So this, along with Facebook, of course, got the Instagram, and then I started a SoundCloud with a podcast, and then a YouTube channel, and what else do I have? A Twitter. So like,
you're becoming a social media sensation.
Yeah, I'm all over the socials. So yeah, this is just the beginning. So I'm genuinely excited to be doing this. So something I've kind of been thinking about doing for a while. Just didn't know where to start, and if you're familiar with the saying. Oh shoot, I just forgot it. That's
the one I have heard that saying before.
Yeah.
That's definitely one I'm familiar with.
It's basically getting stuck, just overthinking things. What is it? I'll think of it as soon as I finish this. But anyways, I felt like I was just kind of getting stuck, trying to think about what I wanted to do. So finally I just said, screw it. I'm just going to start throwing some stuff out there. And so here I am, throwing some stuff out there. And I'm having a good time so far. I mean, who doesn't have a good time when they're out driving cars, talking about cars? So that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm actually personally very excited about car thoughts, because what I'm thinking is that now you'll just start talking to these guys about cars and I can miss out just a little. Okay.
I think you should like cars more than you do, because they're pretty special.
Yeah, well, every single time I work on them, they cut my fingers and it makes me sad. Don't speed. I thought you were going to drive me out to the snowy mountains, though.
There's some snow out there for sure. We can head that way, but this jiggles like crazy. You have to put your hand up there and hold it steady.
You're going to make me pull my arm out. Work so hard.
Yeah, we can go on a road for sure. Like, this is one of the things that I loved about driving exotic cars in Wyoming. A lot of times people ask, why you drive a car like this here? I get that. I don't know, there's probably like two things.
Please don't kill me. Keep talking though, keep going.
There's probably two questions that I get asked pretty frequently, and that is, one, how does a young guy like you afford a car like this? And two, why do you drive that car? I guess there's actually three when you're in an Aston Martin. Two, why do you drive a car like that here? And then three, what kind of car is that? Because it's an Aston Martin. Everybody thinks it's beautiful, even if they don't know what it is. And then they just ask me, like, what kind of car is that? But they,
I get, oh, that's the guy that drives the James Bond car. That's what I get all the time.
Yep, James Bond. If they don't know what kind of car it is, then sometimes they know that James Bond drives one. But, yeah, I think it's super special to be able to drive a car like this just in Wyoming. I obviously don't drive it year round. A little bit too scared to drive it. Not necessarily scared to drive it. I've driven a lot of rear-wheel drive kind of sports cars in the wintertime, but I'm honestly just scared of
other people wrecking
dumb drivers on the road driving in the wintertime and then wrecking it. And that's something that I don't want to have to deal with. So
look at all the longhorn cattle.
Typically, just put it away during the winter. Might drive it occasionally if it's nice. Again, I don't want to get too much of the junk they put on the roads on this car. But yeah, it is incredible to be able to drive something like this here in Wyoming. There's just so many open roads, hardly any traffic, and you're just able to go out and drive. Like, you can open it up, kind of like I just did there. Not speeding. Anybody's looking at this. Yeah, really just cruise. There's tons of mountain roads, twisty mountain roads, open country. It's absolutely beautiful here. You're not going to see it today because it's raining outside. Not too much. It's fun to get.
Pretty cloudy though.
Yeah, but yeah, it's hard to see the mountains, but there's huge mountain ranges around. Rocky Mountains.
We're literally like a mile from the base of the mountains right now.
So it's just an incredible view. So yeah, I a lot of times people ask why I drive a car like this here, and I ask them, why not? Why aren't you driving a car like this?
Because I'm pro.
Oh, I can show you how to do it for sure.
Good, because I'm gonna have a Lamborghini before you, so that's like pretty important.
Also, I've got the baby face going on, so I'm actually 26 years old. But I do have the look, and people think that I'm like some teenage kid who's driving an Aston Martin, and yeah, sometimes that gets weird. But no, I've just got one of those faces.
It's cute though. You wear it well. You have an even complexion. It's very nice.
So yeah, I don't know. I turn this camera around.
I can try. Maybe.
Oh yeah, there we go.
We gotta get it so that you can't see this thing though. There we go. I did it. Kind of.
Yeah, so if it wasn't raining / cloudy, you would definitely be able to see some large mountains right up there in front of us. But these are the kind of open roads that you would be driving on if you lived in Wyoming. I think most people would tell you not to move to Wyoming because they want to keep it all for themselves, but it's definitely a pretty incredible place to live. Get all 4 seasons for the most part. Sometimes it snows like it did this year really early, but I mean we still got some fall, so that's good.
Look how pretty the leaves are.
Yeah, it is pretty. Yeah, it's an incredible place to live, for sure. You got any other questions, Bailey? You kind of been hitting me with some pretty good questions.
Okay. Surely I do. Here, want me to put it back on your face? You have an important face.
Kind
You do have a very nice face, I will admit that. Okay. Question. I know. How fast have you ever driven?
of. I don't know if I should say that on camera.
I mean, legally. Okay, how fast? Okay, no, that's not what I want to say.
The fastest I've ever been in a car was probably about 160 miles an hour.
Legally, of course.
Yeah. Legally.
Okay. Duh. Why would that? Okay.
Ooh. Andy Ment is watching. What's up, Andy?
Okay, I'm gonna think of a good one.
Otherwise, I just want to take this opportunity
Okay.
to make sure that people know that Car Thoughts is really all about the community and the people that are kind of going to be within the group. And I would love to get hit with some questions for sure.
Don't hit the deer.
Don't hit the deer.
Yes, don't hit the deer.
Yeah, if you guys have questions, that sort of thing, hi Andy, have any questions, just send them my way. I would totally be down to discuss some stuff, whatever the type of car, the topic, whatever. Send them my way. I'm planning on making quite a few more videos, just talking cars. So yeah, love to field some questions and be able to just go over kind of whatever's on your mind, talk about, you know, new cars that are going to be hitting the road here soon, old cars,
There's snow right there.
car problems. Yeah, there is snow. Car problems, you know, what makes different cars special, what kind of cars that you like, what kind of cars I like, what kind of cars to buy to make money, that sort of stuff. Any types of questions, send them my way.
You're a pro. Nailed it.
Nailed it. You got anything else for me, Bailey, or should we call this quits? I think we've been going for a while now.
Yeah, for sure. And I have some other questions, but I think it's definitely a good topic for another day. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna peace out then. finish this rainy Sunday drive, and then go hang out. So thanks everybody for watching. I'd like to be a guest on your podcast and talk about my new book. AD, we can probably set that up for sure. Let's send me a message after this, and we'll talk about it and for sure get something set up. So I think that'd be sweet. All right, we're gonna peace out. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.